Hello everybody, it's Zeidoktor here with Typical Manga Fan, and in our Bleach episode we mentioned that there was only one chapter this week. Turns out we were just a tad premature, because this week's episode is going to be this episode is dedicated to Akame ga Kill, chapter 69, Kill the Free-for-All Battle. That's a little awkward right there, Kill the Free-for-All Battle. Alright.
Yeah.
Speaking of free-for-all, we open up with Leon and Akame pretty much going after the derp-eyed entertainer guy that we were on the list of targets from last chapter. Like, he tries unsuccessfully to buy them off, which is obviously not going to work. He also tries to go through like a farewell poem, but they chop his head off before he can do that.
It was the farewell poem.
Oh, good.
I was just thinking, was the farewell poem like a trick in trying him to like release his what they call it? Weapon? I totally forgot the weapon. What's it called? Tengu. Yeah, was that like his release or something?
It could well be. And by the way, when I say chop off his head, I mainly mean more in the form of scalping him.
Yeah, because you can see the brains and all that.
Yeah, and that was their first one they were taking down, so he's kind of out of the way there.
I'm glad that they're not letting these guys do their tricks and stuff, because we gotta kill these guys off. I mean, they're not big characters, right? I mean, they're big in the universe, but they're not big to us.
There's certainly at least one or two that won't go down easily, I'm sure, but...
Yeah, I actually do think he was probably trying to summon the Tegu, because you can see the eyes just telling us like he's got something up his sleeve. But Akame is like, nope, I'm no Batman, so I'm gonna kill people.
Yeah, and then they're also like while they're also kind of discussing the situation here. Like the guards are all dispatched outside the city for the big battle, so they can sneak in and out pretty easily. And they've also finally got maps and things of inside the palace so they can avoid traps. So. And like, do you want to infiltrate the throne room while we're at it? You read my mind. They look so happy on an assassination spree.
Well, I mean, they're not superheroes, right?
Yeah.
Or at least they're not what we think superheroes should be. But they are assassins. They're going to kill people. And so now we switch over to the king, basically.
Yeah, the emperor and prime minister. And the emperor is having like a moment of clarity. Like we can't unleash that turned upon people as a weapon. It's way too dangerous.
Yeah, but the prime minister, as always, is manipulative with his words.
You know what Oh, go ahead.
I just say he remembers his mom and dad.
Yeah, and he's convinced that that's what they would want to do to protect the people. But on a side note, I'm remembering something from a book series I've been reading here lately. It's like it's in reference to a character very much like the prime minister. That's kind of what made me think of it. But basically, like, another character on meeting him face to face for the first time thinks something along the lines of that there ought to be a rule about that villains oughtn't look like the stereotypical villains. Like that's what I think when I look at the prime minister now. Like there should be a rule that villains should not be allowed to look like stereotypical villains.
I have actually in doing so, does that make the boy emperor look more like an idiot? Because it's just all these facial expressions that we see, just like, oh my god, he's so evil, but the boy is just like, no, he's a good guy,
No, actually, you may have a point there. Actually, now you kind of bring that up, I hadn't really thought about that. I hadn't thought that far into it, but I think you might be right. Like, if he didn't look so blatantly evil all the time we saw him, then yeah, he might. Then I mean, to a point, it's forgivable from the emperor just because he is a kid, but at the same time, he is so blatantly evil.
I mean, yeah, because the boy has been exposed to just this one guy his entire life, so maybe what we see as evil is just him seeing as normal.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the character I was referring to, like from my book series, his obviously evil comes from the fact that he's Grand Inquisitor of a corrupt church, which tells you everything you need to know. Really, when you get right down to it. But anyway, from there we kind of transfer outside of the city. We have Esdeath and I blanked on the other girl's name just now.
Suzuka.
Suzuka, thank you. They're kind of overseeing the battle. They're noticing that, and we're also seeing some of the past Tegu coming back. Like we see the flute from the fight on the boat. Like when Tatsumi, like, what was the guy that had in cursive before Tatsumi? Basically, the bro, like the...
Yeah, I know. Isn't the Pompadour guy?
Yeah, exactly. Again, I'm blanking on names here because it's been a while, but you know who I mean. But I remember that. I do remember that flute.
Yeah.
And we also see, a little bit later, we'll also see sheer scissors.
Yeah.
Yep, and then the agenda's leading the charge, like they're taking out the ice cavalry. I think they're having the Tegu users fight the ice cavalry specifically. And here's where we kind of see some of these old Tegu coming back. Like we see the scissors in use, and I don't know what the axe was from. If it was from anything particular. From the Tan woman.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I kind of skipped over through a lot of the stuff. So for me, it's kind of like it feels very new for me. So.
I mean, the scissors at least are recognizable pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to depend on you for a lot of any of those characters coming back from before, you know.
Yeah, I've not recognized the character specifically, or at least not by appearance.
Yeah.
And we're seeing like a Supreme Commander kind of being reported to after all that. Because they have enough Tegu, like they're able to stay evenly matched with the Imperial Army, but their siege forces encircling them are beginning to get thinner. And actually, apparently the rebellion is over 10 times the military force as the capital. Dang. But
that just says there's something wrong when that happens.
Well, and that's what this guy's realizing too. It's Esdeath. She's the one that's making the big difference here.
What I'm saying is, if the rebels are 10 times the might of the military force, that shows you that the people are not happy about the government.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
I mean, that's not supposed to happen, even with countries that have rebels, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're in proper coup territory there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the commander, whoever he is, like, is thinking that himself that Esdeath is, who would have imagined he was accumulating all our energy to control and create an ice cavalry. And there's some stuff going on inside the capital too, but Esdeath's already kind of prepared for that. Kurome's old forces are there to deal with that.
Yeah.
That kind of deal with anything they might try inside the capital.
Yeah, and then we see the scouts thing, right? Or is it,
we've seen these guys before. I don't know their name, but we've seen these scouts before.
They're the scouts, right? Yeah, they're the scouts. They were let go by Esdeath, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh crap.
I remember them mostly from one of Lubok's fights. The first time we actually saw him fight.
And then we switched to
Tatsumi
and Curcio, basically slaughtering all the ice cavalries and all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, he's warned not to get too far away from the main forces.
Yep.
But then is also predicting that Esdeath will soon jump into the fray firsthand. Like she can only stay on the sidelines for so long.
Yep, and then she's like, well, I basically got the firm grasp of, how their armies move, and she was like, what the hell? That fast? And she's like, yeah, of course, she's OP. This is what being OP means.
Yep.
And then she found out a good specific point of command to destroy first, and then is basically going to join the battle now.
Yep.
She's putting them. She's leaving the ice cavalry on cruise control, basically.
Yeah, cruise control is actually precisely the thing to say here.
Yeah.
And she's just like hacking and slashing all the way through.
Yeah.
In fact, I almost wonder if she's even caring if she's hitting her own Kais, and if so, does she care?
Yeah. So she basically runs down and kills a lot of people. That's basically what she does. And then we get back to the leader. What's her name again?
Agenda.
There we go. And she's like, shit. She's really strong. And but don't. She says that she has some good things in store for her Esdeath, and is having them take defensive positions to wait for her to tire out.
Yep, basically. And then they've also come up to the point that now that she's on the battlefield herself, then the Ice Cavalry are kind of moving more autonomously. They won't respond quite as rapidly as they were before. And on the opposite side of the city, that's the point they break through the gates.
So Esdeath basically did exactly as Nagenda predicted, and so they're using that as the North Gate as the distraction, as the actual place to attack. Yep. Whereas the South is kind of like a distraction for the general.
Yep. Shizuka even facepalms at the whole thing.
Yeah. I bet Esdeath probably knows that. She just doesn't care. She's like, well, I want to join in on the fun.
Yeah, pretty much. That's right there with her. And she even knows to herself, like, if only we had Grand Chariot or Yachu Fusa's corpses, they could turn the table on this whole thing. But no, they had to go and die at such a crucial time.
So basically, yeah. So Esdeath's like, oh crap, they attacked the northern gates. It looks like they are more organized than I predicted. And then it's because of an agenda, obviously. She's the tactician. Mm-hmm. So she says, well, I have to crush the enemy supreme commander, so she's going to attack an agenda because that is the main. She's the main tactician, right? Yeah, that or she's actually going after the actual leader of the rebel army. I feel like an agenda is the more reasonable target because she's the one actually telling everyone what to do. If you take her out,
right? But the supreme commander is like the leader, like he's like the head of the snake, basically.
Yeah, but but is he there for as like a type of iconic figurehead, or is he the actual like is he like really smart and he's actually also in battle?
He's probably a strategist at least, because he is behind the lines right now.
Yeah.
And then, but before that goes anywhere, like Tatsumi joins in the fight.
Yeah, so Tatsumi they attack, and we basically get to their version of having sex. Basically what it is.
Well, Esdeath's version anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, Esdeath's version.
And she's giving her all right from the beginning, which is kind of overwhelming Tatsumi just a bit.
Yep, and then he, tries to catch her. He does get her, but she's like, "Do you have any idea what it means to lay a finger on me?" I don't know. And then
it looks like he freezes him on the spot.
Freezes, basically. Yeah. And then he breaks out of it. And then so she's just like, "I haven't even got my body warmed up yet." Is that a pun? Is that what she's trying to do here?
Probably.
I don't know. So then they start to fight, and that's the end of the chapter.
Yep, like Tatsumi just thinking that against Esdeath at her most serious, how long will I be able to hold out? Well, no point overthinking it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
I do think she was winning for Nagenda though, because Nagenda's closer too.
Yeah, plus, and she does seem to have the idea that she should be going for the command, the field leader, the one who's actually leading the troops. So you're probably right.
The other guy is not anywhere. He's not close to the battle right now, so yeah, it just makes more sense with Nagenda. And also, we have OP. So the fight's basically starting now, which is actually a little quicker than I thought it'd be. So it would mean that she might actually be defeated before the Supreme Tegu comes out. Which I guess makes sense, but
I could see that. But at the very least, I could see this fight. I could also see this fight going on for a while between Tatsumi and Esdeath.
Yeah, that could happen. But then that means that we would have a distraction. So who would take on the Supreme Tegu? Unless the Supreme.
Right. Well, I could see that being Akame.
Okay. Yeah. So I wonder do you think Tatsumi's life? Okay, so this is going far off prediction end, but I was thinking about this. Okay. Do you think that maybe his life might be saved by Esdeath at the end, and she gives him maybe her powers or something to keep him alive? And then he basically gets a mix of ice powers and his incursion together.
I wouldn't call it that.
That'd be too awesome.
On the one hand, I wouldn't call it likely, just because because we've seen with Wave what 2 Tegu can do. Yeah. But on the other hand, we've seen what 2 Tegu can do, and it could be very well to set us up for exactly that sort of thing.
And Tatsumi's the main character, so he gets a little bit of plot armor. I mean, obviously this is a very everyone dies type of situation here, but maybe just a little bit of plot armor.
Yeah.
Literally armor. Literal armor.
Yep. His armor is made of plot.
But because I would love to see that happen, and so we have the fight now, and yeah, it might go on for a little while, but I don't think it'll go on for more than maybe 3 or 4 chapters, because we all know that unlike this another manga that we review, Akame Kill has had pretty good pace when it comes to fight.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's gonna drag out for like ever, right?
True.
I mean, what is the longest fight? What is the longest fight in Akame Kill, right? And how long did it take?
The most recent one I can think of is when they were finishing off the Wild Hunt.
Yeah, but that's an organization.
Well, yeah, but it was still like individual fights, like 2 or 3 individual fights.
Yeah, I think they were switching around a bit. But yeah, so how long did that take? Like maybe 3, 4 chapters at most?
Yeah, I mean, there were no combatants to justify it.
Yeah, so I mean, with Esdeath by herself, just focusing on her, and maybe switching to Akame, maybe 3 or 4 chapters, right? But other than that, I mean, and also don't forget the monthly chapters too.
True. So you get kind of more bang for your buck there.
Yeah, and we don't have a guy trying to drag this out as much as he possibly can. At least not yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm thinking about 3 or 4 chapters of fight, and then we'll see who wins.
Yep.
Although, I was because it was interesting that this was released roughly at the same time as Tokyo Ghoul, and and they both have OP characters in it, and I was just comparing them in me.
You tweeted about that, like who's more OP, Kaneki or
no, not Kaneki, Arima.
Arima or Esdeath. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Esdeath has actually shown that she can actually be hurt, and people can actually resist her powers.
And my point on that as well was that being invincible is the last thing Esdeath would want.
She's still OP though. She's
she's definitely OP, but
she's not. Yeah, she's not invincible, but she's close to it.
Yeah, but she would not want to be invincible because what's the point in the battle? You cannot lose.
Yeah. Arima's different. Arima's different because he doesn't share her bloodlust, so he doesn't care about fights. If anything, he might even. You can argue he might even want to avoid it. But he's like Heathcliff in the sense that even if you win against him tactically and you think you got him in a bind, he just magically gets like 10 times faster and just avoids you, and you're just like, how the hell did that happen? So he's like a guy you just don't know how to beat, because it's like, well, even if I beat him tactically, he just somehow becomes stronger and faster at the last moment and just dodges me and then just stabs me in the eye, you know. And
Right.
he keeps killing everyone he comes like he doesn't he's like Aizen but without but in terms of Aizen we always know that it's because of his illusion powers. With Arima it's like how he's just really good at what he does apparently. So like it's interesting that we have they have these OP characters, but we have different ways of portraying them.
Right.
With Esdeath, we have a very insane person. Actually, in many ways, she's kind of like the opposite of Arima, but
Yeah, she's closer to Kenpachi when you get right down to it.
Kenpachi, another supposed to be OP character, but they kind of toned him down to combat Quincy's. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I don't. I know. As I said, I'm trying to. I did a very far off prediction, and I guess the next prediction is Tatsumi wins because I think he can use a cursor 2 more times, right? So.
Does this transformation count as one of the two?
No, because last time he had 3. Because he used 1. He had 4 times. He used 1 against Wave, right?
Okay.
Then he used 1 against. Oh, actually, wait.
Because one of those one was against Wild
was
Hunt.
against Cosmina, yeah, Wild Hunt. That was 1, and then he used 1 against Wave. That's 2. So he can have one, at the very least 1 more time. So that means he would have to turn off for whatever reason.
Yeah, like maybe like after Esdeath's defeat, like prediction wise, going kind of what we were thinking before. Let's say Esdeath's beaten or pushed back, and he has to disengage in Curcio just to rest, and then either final battle with Esdeath or the Grand Tegu there. But either one of those will probably be what does it.
Yep, and then he might die. In which case, it's kind of like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm in a Rurouni Kenshin situation where I understand that not everyone can live, but I feel like when characters go through so much shit that they kind of they should earn themselves a happy ending, you know? Like Rurouni Kenshin, Kenshin, he went through so much shit that the author said, you know what? I gave him a happy ending because I felt that he earned it.
Yeah.
There's too much. You can't just kill the guy, keep pressing him down. At a certain point, just like, okay, let's be done with it, you know? At a certain point, giving too much bad shit to someone becomes unrealistic, you know?
Right.
At a certain point. Anyway, so anything else you want to say?
Nope, I think we're good to go here. Like this is mostly been a good action chapter. Like it's too early to really predict how these fights will go or what direction things are going in. I am wondering if any of the people Leon and Akame are going after will actually be Tegu users, or if they'll just be easy put downs like Derpy Eyes here was.
Well, maybe the last guy, but I don't think any more than that.
Yeah, at least one of them should be a challenge. I think maybe 2 tops.
Well, I feel like if they were actually powerful enough to actually do something, we would know them by now, you know.
True, that's actually a good point. Like that's why maybe there could be a home turf advantage there to worry about too. But
yeah, but they're being attacked right now. Like there's too much going on. I highly doubt that home turf really makes that much of a difference, at least for them. For maybe for the bigger guys, yeah, but you know, because they had the rebel army surrounding everyone, so it's not like it's not like Akame or Leon is going to get surrounded by enemies.
Yeah.
At least I don't think so.
Yeah, I said I don't really expect them to have too much trouble, at least until they get closer to the Prime Minister, one way or the other.
Yeah, I hope that Prime Minister gets blown up with all this fat blown everywhere. You know.
Well, this is a series gory enough to allow for it.
Well, I mean, I just feel like ironic if he eats so much food. I just think he should get a really huge stomachache and that kills him.
Yeah, or if Kame pinpricks him with the sword right on his navel or something.
Yeah. Cut his dick off first. That's brutal. But he deserves it.
Well, yeah, I would agree with you on there. But at this point, though, I think we are set to go on. There's not much else to really get into in detail on here, though. But before we go, so at that point, I'll say that's been our review of Akame ga Kill, Chapter 69, Kill the Free-for-All Battle. Go ahead and take us away.
Bye.